Hello everybody, welcome back, good morning. Let's have a look at the charts then, shall we? I'm just looking at the Bitcoin dominance to begin with. Not that I would read too much into it, but when a chart starts to respond, appropriately, you do have to think about it. And this at the moment is bouncing from a 200 exponential. It's all part of this 4-hourly golden cross that took place after this sort of like lower end of the pullback. This sort of I suppose you want to call it the alt season that took place at the end of last year, I suppose that's what it was really, and then obviously the decline of that alt season and the pullback and the chaos and everything that took place basically has allowed the dominance chart to continue to rise. Now I know that we've seen a bit of a pullback into this with the most recent chaos, but the pullback has only brought us to a major support on 4-hourly. So maybe we're going to see Bitcoin start to recover from here, to be honest. We're sitting at a resistance on the daily, so maybe you see a rejection from there. But this bullish chart, it doesn't matter which way you kind of cut it. The 4-hourly is bullish. The daily is pretty much bullish as well. We're sitting at this resistance, and again, whether it breaks or not is a different story. You have to wait for that. And obviously the weekly is bullish. In fact, every single time frame that you decide to measure it upon is bullish. So the one thing you can say about the dominance chart is that it's often bullish in a bear market. So there is that. So we're not out of the woods at all. We're seeing a serious bounce, and there's been some serious money made on that bounce. I've been doing those mega longs. I was saying on the Telegram yesterday, and look, I have to say, like, early mornings, UK, the early bird catches the worm. These mega longs that I've been getting into these last few weeks, they're always, not always, but they're often done very early in the morning. It's not always the case. So I took some on the Wednesday night when we were doing the Patreon stream. Actually, I took a few longs there. They were pretty successful, but for the most part, I find that the price action is ready to take advantage of early morning. So yeah, I'm still in those longs, those mega longs that you've seen. If you're on my Twitter or Telegram, I'm still in those with the stop losses at 100% profit now. Yeah, they are very aggressive longs. I know people have been asking me how to go about doing those sort of things. They're not, when you're doing such high leverage like that, you can't really say this is the entry point. It's more of a focusing on the reversal, the wick basically, because the only way that you can do a 100 or a 200x long position really is to get on that knee-jerk reaction of the wick, the response. It's not there is support to an extent, but it's more about reaction. You start seeing a heavy reaction from an oversold area, and you're buying into that wick. That's basically how I've gone about doing it. So it's not something I could say, or any pump group could ever say, oh, do this, do that. We had an idea that this area could hold, as we've seen it hold around here. So when we saw, I always refer to myself as we when I'm talking about about trading, but it is me. Then you start to see this wick buying up, moving up, and I took the position around here. There is no support. On this daily, there is no support on this 4-hourly. There will be no support on any other time frame. It's just a response on that monthly. And when you start to see the movement up like this, then you just got to try it and then put your stop loss in instantly. You cannot afford to not have a stop loss with a 200% long or a 100% long or a 75x long or whatever it is. All these things that I've been doing. But yeah, luckily they're in at the moment and they're still running, and the stop losses are in 100%. And you might think, oh, that sounds great, but at the moment they're up 1,000%. Some of them. So if it falls and I get stopped off and all I've done is double, no big deal. The hope is that we reverse from here, so that's what we're going to look at now. Is there any signs of reversal? Is there actually anything to think about when it comes to these charts reversing? So let's start with the daily. Any real reason to expect a reversal on what we see right now? Well, there's just the wick. That's all we've got. Wicks tell a story, buying pressure, just like wicks tell a story in the inverse way, selling pressure. So there is a story being told here, buying pressure. And again, the relevance to that wick is only relevant on a monthly, which for better or for worse counts for something, because we have seen that recently, I suppose, over the last 12 months, that is the turnaround area, and it isn't neat. It's not neat at all. But candle bodies have remained above the 10 exponential the whole time on the monthly. So there is only that. Is that enough for reversal? Or as far as the month is concerned, the monthly, it says, is that continuation? Well, it could be considered continuation. The only problem I would say would be that we do have, on the money flow index, bearish divergence. One major driver of that. And I suppose you could consider this bearish divergence on the RSI as well. So we have to think seriously about what that might mean. Because this could mean reversal the opposite way. This could mean continuation down. The next major level outside of the previous higher high, which is 72,000, will be down into the Bollinger Bands. But, in the previous bull market, when we did come down to those areas, you did see some response, but we lost it, rejected from it, finished off the bear market. And at that point, we're basically 50% down anyway, close to it. So, yeah, it is a tricky one. There's definitely a market out there to be traded, futures or scalping, but and I'd like to say continue to buy the dip and hold and wait for brighter days, but we can't deny what it is that we're looking at. Now, I did say, and I continue to say, and I will reiterate, that I'm still okay generally for Bitcoin and Ethereum at these levels, but it's not far away now before I'm not okay. Ethereum closing below 2,100 on a daily candle, would spark most likely much larger continuation, 1,400 and then into the actual hundreds, So, but at the moment we're not there. We're not there at all. So, there's nothing much more to say about it than that. Looking over here for the 4-hourly on Ethereum, still serious downtrend really. We don't really have any reason to assume continuation until we get back above 2,800. That's a big deal. Now, I made a bold statement on the Patreon, and I'll stick with it until it's broken, that, we forget how aggressive crypto moves can be in the form of an uptrend. They can move seriously and fast. We don't have bottoming vibes, although I, from a personal perspective, I've got my criteria that I'm bullish until proven otherwise, and I'm going to be bullish until we start to see closing below 2,100. But the statement I made would be that it is possible for this to turn around and reverse relatively quickly. So give it maybe, it's hard to imagine, but if we were to close our eyes, go into cryogenic status, and wait for maybe 4 to 6 weeks, and then wake up one day and look at the price and see Ethereum trading back up at 4,000, it's not out of the realms of possibility. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that it's definitely going to happen, but if it did happen, I wouldn't be massively surprised to see a turnaround that fast. I really wouldn't. There's all of this Trump stuff going on, all this tariff stuff going on, and fear in the market, and that is across the board. We see that the S&P has bounced pretty hard as well. It's not reversal time. This is still sort of serious sort of pullback time, but you can extend this channel, and we're back in the channel, but we're bouncing from the bottom of it as well. So there's relevance going on here. There's bullish divergence going on here. And if we move over to the Dixie as well, yeah, you're seeing, I know the Dixie's a real mess on my chart here, but you're seeing a bit of a bounce. We thought there was going to be a bounce from here. It was generally expected from this kind of area, but we are also looking for rejection as well. So we're looking for lower highs, lower lows for the Dixie. So we'll have to see how it all goes, because there's still enough evidence for my overall expectation of the total 2 and obviously the crypto market that we're going to start to see bouncing and moving up. But we have to kind of see it soon. Like I say, 4 to 6 weeks should hopefully, again using the word hope now, start to see all of these areas just get smashed back through and a continuation up. Just moving back though, just to have a look at how these markets have always behaved. They've always been aggressive. They've always had big moves up. They've always had big moves down. This is why when we go up and we're trending up and people start always sending me DMs and things, and I do the streams, and we're basically doing parabolic moves. People say, where can I buy? Where can I buy? Where can I buy? And I understand that because maybe those people have bought and then they've sold and now they're in profit and they want to continue with that snowball effect of I'm making money, daily, weekly. I want to keep this up. But when the market trends as one giant monster, whatever position that you're in on this parabolic move, whether that's something like Litecoin or VRA or XRP or super smelly poo token or whatever, do you know what I mean? Whatever it was that you were in is all part of a giant trending move of the market. So just because you exited one position, now you're looking for a new position, yeah, you might be able to catch a move on that, but the market trends as a giant big crypto machine. They're not isolated markets. One altcoin trends just like another altcoin. Some are more aggressive, some are less aggressive, usually due to the volume and liquidity of those charts. Things will move up massively if the order books prior to the move were small, because it's just a volume thing. You always wonder why, okay, we've got like some brand new straight on the market coin that just rallies up 1,000% in a day. Why does that happen? Well, there was no order books, basically. There was nothing. It's just hype. Everybody buys into it and there's no sell wall. Then you have something that's a down only chart. Why isn't it going back up to its previous all-time high? Well, it's just a whole chart full of sell walls. And it'll never recover, which is why it's down only. Anyway, I'm just going off on tangents here, but long story short, the total 2 is a sort of a very sad looking chart on the daily here. It's pretty sad on the weekly also. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's still a series of higher highs and higher lows. If we go over to the monthly, what do we see? Well, the month more or less above the 20 and the 21. So again, we're looking at monthlies now, hoping for the best. Where the last time we saw monthlies reverse around the 20 and the 21, closing above the 21 the whole time. So it's not dissimilar to how this previous rally and this current one, and where they sort of fell into and ricocheted and bounced from. So that gives you a target on the total 2 of just below 1 trillion. Around 964 billion. So it could mean that there's further downside to be had, and that's what the dominance chart kind of hints towards, that Bitcoin could perhaps go up or could go down. It's not really a particularly interesting chart when it comes to price, but it is moving back up again, so Bitcoin possibly going to continue to be dominant until further notice. But all eyes on Ethereum to see how that performs over the next week, really, or even literally over the next few hours. I would really, really appreciate Ethereum to sort of ricochet and bounce from this area and reverse and go back up to 4,000. Not just because it would mean continuation for the market, give people opportunity to at least take some profit. It's not just you. I'm underwater on some of these trades now. Not all, but some. Some of my spot positions are now underwater. The most recent ones, I should add. Come on, let's be fair. Just the most recent ones, but still, that's not what I expected. I didn't expect that to happen. I did expect continuation. We haven't really got it. This could be a shakeout, or this could be the end. But at the moment, the criteria for continuation down is as much as it is up. And the reaction that we saw in the S&P yesterday is okay, and I don't see that stocks are ready to crash, not yet. I think what we're going to see is a big move up before anything else. But does it go to higher highs? So, standing back and reflecting on what it is that we're looking at, Bitcoin is still relatively okay, to be fair. There is signs that we're going to come to an end soon, and this was the expectation. This white line reflects where I'll be looking to get out of this bull market. This bull market has been a bull market. You can't deny it, right? And we're approaching what I consider to be the end, right? Don't want to be any positions around this area. It's not far to go, considering where we've come from and where we are right now, that's a significant bull market, right? Don't lose sight of that, because that is the reality of this chart, right? And this is where I expect the end to be. We're either already at the end or we're about to move into the end. I still think that we're likely to move into the end, and this is it. But it's not much further to go, so we really don't have much longer before the bull market definitely does come to an end, in my opinion. And having this bearish divergence at this stage of the rally is appropriate on a monthly, because it means that, yeah, we could get another move up into this, up above 100,000, somewhere in the 100,000s, and that's where it peaks around here. What it does for altcoins is a different story, but I would imagine it carries them with it. Whether you get an official alt season, some kind of rotation event, is a different story. We've not really seen any of that. We really haven't seen any of that so far. You have had alt seasons, but they've been very short, very aggressive, and very short. And look, we've taken part in those, and we've done some good gains. Whether we get another one, I think we do, but whether we get another one is open to interpretation. Doesn't look like we're going to get one immediately. Not with Ethereum looking the way it is. The last thing I'm going to do is we're just going to look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, because it was only a week ago where this was looking quite attractive. As far as divergence is concerned, it is still relatively attractive. Big bull div on the money flow index here on the monthly. And again, these are the only things that you can really go by when looking to see a trend reversal. And this has been trending down since the parabolic peak of the last bull market. Ethereum has basically been sort of dropping off. We also see bullish divergence on the weekly. On the daily, we still have bullish divergence. On the 4 hourly, it's lost it. We don't have the bullish divergence on the 4 hourly. We just have the death cross retest. So this is why I would say I'm relatively hopeful between now and September still, even with all of this that's gone on for an alt season, right? Because it's not like it's trending up. It's not. It's trending down. But with this continuous downtrend, which has been going on for 3 more years, right? It's been going on for a long time now. The higher term timeframes have whopping divergences, which could turn around at any point. It's just not reflected on the shorter term timeframes, which is why there is evidence, and when this is significant evidence that you will see Ethereum turn around, and you will see Ethereum actually have a big run. Whether it goes beyond its previous high on the Bitcoin pair is a different story, but this is why I'm saying Ethereum to 4,000, next month or maybe even this month is not impossible at all, because you have a giant spring like that in the form of this divergence waiting for it to just catapult and move all the way to 4,000. It's easily done. It's easily done. It's less than 100% move, right? Which in crypto terms can happen very easily, even with Ethereum. You can see Ethereum do 100% in a week, in a month, easily. But because it's just going down and down and down and down and down and down and down, it's hard to imagine. But those divergences count for something. And if we were to just see a turnaround and an 82% move up to 4,000, it seems impossible, it seems unlikely, but there's evidence to say that kind of powerful move could take place, and the reason I say that is the monthly, the weekly, the daily Ethereum to Bitcoin pair. So just, you've got to trade for what's appropriate to you. I make no mistake in admitting that I thought we would be up at this point now, which is why I was moving into alts throughout sort of end of December, throughout sort of January, into those sort of consolidations, sort of incrementally buying back heavily into altcoins. Like I say, most of them are fine still, but some of them are not. So yeah, I'll take it on the chin. But look, whatever your risk tolerance suits you is how you should go about buying, trading, longing, shorting. At this stage, the direction is up for grabs. There's evidence for continuation down. There is also evidence for continuation up. The trend is certainly down, but there's evidence counter to that trend to say that if it reverses for Ethereum, which then would correlate to altcoins, if it reverses, it could be pretty powerful, pretty fast, and it could happen pretty much this month, to be honest with you. This wick could be it. That actually could be it. It's gone lower than all the areas that I consider to be the low, but it's still above where I would consider to be where I'm willing to be shaken out, because of course everybody has to get shaken out at some point. You can't just hold on to dead positions. That's just madness. That's not an acceptable way to go about managing any kind of money. You do have to say, all right, it was at this exact moment where I accepted that on this occasion I was wrong. In the moment, it does look like I might be wrong, but I'm not shaken out at this level. I'll be shaken out from a lower level, and then so be it. We'll see what happens after that. Currently, the futures market is what's keeping me going. These volatile moves are, well, they are welcomed when it comes to using futures and derivatives, but they're certainly not welcomed when it comes to the overall portfolio and the hodls, even the hodls from Ethereum. I've been in Ethereum since $160, and I've kept it the whole time. And I was looking to see much higher on Ethereum generally. But if it means that I have to take out my positions from all the way back down yonder to sell if we start going down below 2,000, then so be it. It's still an okay profit. Yeah, I know, 1,000%. I did that yesterday, but not with the same amount of funds as I bought the Ethereum in spot. But yeah, I mean 1,000% over all this time. I wouldn't call it disappointing. I always get annoyed at people when they say, "Oh, I've only doubled my money this year." Right? Yeah, okay. Well, that's better than most people out there that basically just don't do anything with their money, spend it, or watch it devalue in the bank. You doubled your money. Don't complain about that. That's a first world problem right there. So I'm not going to complain about 1,000% or whatever. But yeah. I would like to have seen more, of course, because my expectations is that there would have been more. So we are hanging in the balance. This month is going to tell us whether it's a bull market or a bear market, and it might even tell us as soon as this week, but this coming week that would be. At the moment, still technically a bull market. Technically it is, still, but the shakeout has been savage, and if it does go any further, the shakeout will turn into a bear market, and that's the ultimate shakeout, isn't it? Right, good luck out there trading. I really mean it. It's not easy. It's not easy. I appreciate that things like the Fear and Greed Index is now sitting at 10. The general sentiment is pretty low. But is it low enough? Has it capitulated? I would like to think that it has capitulated, because if it goes down much further than this, the capitulation will continue into a bear market. All criteria would be met for continuation down on the higher term time frames, which means much further down. If you're looking to exit positions, be prepared for that as well. So if we get a rally throughout March, remember, don't fall into that same trap as being super greedy again, where you exit a position that's done 100 or 2 or 300% move, and now you're looking to go into another one. No. Remember what downtrends feel like. So I always try to remind people, remember what downtrends feel like. Remember them, and just reflect on that. If you've made money and you've exited your positions, remember the market trends mostly as one giant crypto monster, and you've exited your position. It's going to be relatively unlikely that another position is going to be sitting there waiting for you, that's going to offer any more than what your previous position that you exited from would have given you if you'd have stayed in it. So greed, don't get greedy. Be grateful for what you make. Be realistic about where you exit. When we see if we get a move back up and we get warning signs, the same classic ones that allowed us to get out of all of these trades, at their peaks over these last couple of years, if we start to see those, take notice of them, and remember, you don't want to get stuck in another one of these, because the next one, and again, this is if the market continues the way I think it's going to do, moving into September, the next big pullback, if we move into here, the next big pullback will be the big one that takes you all the way down, 50s, 40s potentially, maybe even a bit lower than that. So just remember that, all right? And if that's what Bitcoin's going to do, you know what the altcoin's going to do. Right, I'll leave it there. Hopefully that is in some way useful. Just be careful and take it easy.